First of all, this is not a video about milking cows or chasing puppy playtime fame, or is it? But our main character today is right here. This is Frankie, one of the 3 mascots of the famous cereal company of the same name that has been making waves in the market recently. Similar to Puppy, Frankie also basks in the limelight, or should I say, the gradient glow. But behind that lies an extremely terrifying mystery. So, what mystery does Frankie conceal? And is it a worthy adversary to puppy playtime? Let's find out in the following part of the video. Fighting Frankie is a horror, parkour, first-person perspective game developed by the Fighting Frankie team and scheduled for release in 2024. If the name sounds unfamiliar, well, that's because it is. The Fighting Frankie team is a small group that recently ventured into the gaming industry. They have no prior products, so Fighting Frankie marks their debut and the beginning of their game-making journey. So, what can we expect from Fighting Frankie? Firstly, you step into the shoes of a lucky or unlucky guest who receives a mysterious invitation hidden inside the box of Frankie's cereal, inviting you to participate in a parkour game show to win the ultimate prize at the end of the brand's label. No one knows what the prize is, but you have to compete against 2 other contestants if you want to win. If you're wondering what parkour is, it's essentially a training method for maneuvering around obstacles, originally used in the military. However, it has become increasingly popular among young people and evolved into a thrilling sport favored by many. I learned about it through the game show Sasuke Vietnam, which BTV bought the rights to from TBS Japan a few years ago, and honestly, it's quite entertaining. If you don't believe me, just search it on YouTube. While some may see parkour as dangerous, when done correctly, it has numerous benefits, such as improving agility, climbing skills, and overall flexibility in life, like sneaking into your neighbor's mango tree, for instance. But at the same time, it can also accelerate your journey to meet your ancestors, especially for those youngsters who haven't mastered it yet and are already flirting with danger. The road to the cemetery is just a stone's throw away, because letting go and lying down will surely summon the celestial chariot to pick you up. Now, before officially entering the game, you need to wear the outfit provided by the company, including a Frankie rabbit mask and a not-so-fashionable employee uniform. As I mentioned, you compete with 2 other lucky ticket holders, each representing one of Frankie's cereal's mascots. Sounds intense, doesn't it? And yes, it is indeed intense, because winning in Fighting Frankie isn't just about overcoming obstacles. It's also about navigating through a myriad of unstable traps. See those remnants of previous players on the floor? Those are the traits left behind. So, try to play fair and square, or else you might enter with a cup and leave with just a ladle. The trio consists of Sir Henry Hotline, the friendly rabbit Frankie, and the TV duck, the beauty duck. Currently, it's unclear what roles these 3 mascots play in the game's storyline, but based on the trailer and description on Steam, it can be tentatively assumed that Frankie and Henry will serve as antagonists, while the beauty duck will take on the role of guiding you through the game's mechanics. Additionally, it's highly likely that the game will feature a faction selection mode based on these mascots, each with its own unique ability, determined right from the moment you receive your ticket to the deadly game show. As of now, I'm not entirely sure about the storyline of Fighting Frankie because, apart from the 2 vague gameplay trailers and a general description on Steam, The developers haven't revealed much. However, we can infer that the game revolves around a famous cereal factory named Frankie, featuring 3 mascots: Henry Hotline, Frankie, and the Beauty Duck. Among them, Frankie is the original mascot and also the iconic symbol of the company. For some reason, which even I don't understand, the cereal company has decided to organize a parkour game show within its factory premises, offering an incredibly enticing prize. Contestants are chosen randomly by placing 3 tickets inside cereal boxes on the market. The main character is the lucky recipient of one of these tickets, officially stepping into the fiery parkour game, trying not to be skewered by the monsters lurking within the game. Furthermore, the title, Fighting Frankie itself, is worth noting. It's highly likely that our true objective in the game isn't just to complete the challenge or escape the deadly factory, but to actually fight Frankie, the mascot who once represented the cereal factory. There will be 13 levels for players to conquer, corresponding to 13 locations within Frankie's parkour area. Among them, Areas 10 and 11, Fighting Frankie and Hetzer Havoc, are marked as inactive due to not meeting customer service standard, indicating that they were once popular spots before turning into nightmares as they are now. I also speculate that these 2 areas might be the key points to completing the game. But I still don't understand why a cereal company would venture into the parkour industry. It sounds quite odd, doesn't it? By now, you probably noticed, right? Although the title Fighting Frankie sounds similar to the iconic movie Finding Nemo, they actually have no connection whatsoever. Instead, you find an interesting similarity between Fighting Frankie and the immensely popular game series Poppy Playtime by Mob Entertainment. Both stories have certain ties to an incident at the factory and the company's mascot, as well as the emergence of famous monsters in that location. Moreover, the trailer's construction seems to be heavily inspired by Poppy, with each fleeting image, endless chase scenes, and radio-like voice-over reminiscent of what Mob has utilized in its game series. For this reason, many people believe that Fighting Frankie is riding on the success of Poppy. However, I personally think differently. Firstly, it's quite normal for games within the same genre to share similarities. The gaming world may seem vast, but ultimately, there are only so many concepts. The success of one game becoming a new foundation for others to learn from is commendable because who knows, they might develop things that the predecessors couldn't. Secondly, Fighting Frankie isn't the first game to follow in the footsteps of Poppy Playtime. Other titles such as Baba Yaga, Wood Boy, or The Goten of Ban Ban series by Ifrit Brothers could be mentioned as well. However, despite the similarities, we can still see distinct aspects that make each game unique, preventing it from being a cheap knockoff of Poppy Playtime. Therefore, it's too early to conclude that Fighting Frankie is a mere clone of Bobby, although there are some similarities in the setting and graphics. Personally, I find Frankie more akin to Five Nights at Freddy's, especially the security bridge released in 2021. Thirdly, the graphics of Fighting Frankie are not as bright as Poppy Playtime. How should I put it? In terms of brightness, I feel the lighting in Frankie is clearer rather than the gloomy atmosphere of Bobby. However, when it comes to the eerie, blood-soaked atmosphere, Frankie provides a more distant experience. As you can see in the trailer, the developers aren't afraid to show scenes of contestants lying asleep from exhaustion on the back floor and syrup splatter everywhere, without hiding it to maintain a bright vibe like other games. Regarding the monster in the game, I'm not particularly impressed because I've seen enough scary game monsters to last a lifetime, but both their appearance and design concept seem quite decent. If you want scary, you get scary, but if you're looking for a cute, well, these creatures are anything but cute. They look downright terrifying. Plus, they are gigantic, so being chased by them adds to the pressure. But that's just my perspective. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment below. In terms of gameplay, Fighting Frankie is a unique blend of the famous Saw series and the light-hearted game Fall Guys. It incorporates the typical horror elements of survival games, as well as seemingly easily obstacles that turn out to be challenging in the parkour landscape. Furthermore, in Fighting Frankie, you don't need to search for puzzle keys like in Poppy, or at least that's the case at the moment, as I didn't see a puzzle-solving tag on the game's Steam page. The only thing you need to do to conquer Fighting Frankie is to put on your running shoes and dash while trying to overcome the preset obstacles in each level and avoid the claws of creatures like Frankie and Henry. It might sound easy, but personally I find Frankie much more challenging than Bobby. At least with Bobby, I could still glance at the screen, chill out to the music, but just from watching the trailer for Frankie, I already feel dizzy with its dizzying screen rotations. Labeling the game as parkour will force you to perform high-intensity running and jumping actions in a short period because obstacles will constantly change to make things difficult for you. Furthermore, the first-person perspective restricts the player's field of view, so you need to be highly focused and coordinate both your mind and hands throughout the gameplay to successfully pass each level. And that's not even mentioning the added pressure of being chased by monsters while doing the parkour. It's like doubling your woes. So, if you ask me if Fighting Frankie is worth playing, the answer is yes, as the game shows promise from its storyline, gameplay, to graphics. However, if you ask me whether it will be as successful as Poppy Playtime or not, that's uncertain. The reason is, Poppy didn't become famous solely because of its graphics, gameplay, or storyline. In terms of storyline, there are many games that do better, scarier, more plot twisty, or more human plot. And in terms of graphics, there are countless games that are more polished than that bunch of toys. What makes Bobby a phenomenon in the gaming world mostly came from YouTubers and a few other factors. Firstly, upon its release, Poppy was once compared to its predecessors, Five Nights at Freddy's and Bendy the Ink Machine, sparking a wave of discussion in the fan community and arousing a certain curiosity among gamers before it released. After gaining a stable amount of attention, Poppy Playtime continued its path by allowing many players to experience the game firsthand. Followed by the game's mission, YouTubers quickly got hooked by Oogie Woogie, and the videos about Poppy Playtime started to emerge simultaneously, creating a frenzy in the gaming world. So much so that if you look on the channels of famous streamers or YouTubers, there's bound to be at least one video about Poppy Playtime. And then, that very frenzy turned Poppy Playtime into a name that almost every gamer knows. Of course, saying that doesn't mean I deny the success of Moth Entertainment in terms of Poppy graphics and storyline, because it's clear that even if you give it away for free, invite famous streamers to advertise it, or create a dazzling trend, if the core game doesn't deliver, it won't hold players, let alone create a frenzy, as it would eventually fade away, like those Smash It Lemon Challenge or grilled sausage on rock trends. So, it's safe to say that there are many factors contributing to Poppy Playtime's success, and lacking one of them will prevent the game from succeeding to this day. Furthermore, another interesting aspect is how mob entertainment keeps players engaged. Have you noticed that gamers love digging into mysteries within games? Mob understands this psychology. So, apart from the game itself, they also add or sneak interesting story-related or spoiler elements into image or minigames appearing on the game's social media pages. This proves the saying, you never get bored of a game if you realize there's still much to discover. Mobs release new chapters, drops new spoilers, and the fan community discusses them. New videos emerge, and Poppy Playtime becomes even more known. I feel this loop is what helps mobs attract new players and retain existing ones through each chapter until now. Obviously, it sounds easy, but it's hard to do, because to achieve that, you need to have a sufficiently large storyline with enough small mysteries. And the way to hide and reveal the storyline needs to be meticulously arranged to avoid spoiling too much or too little, which could dampen the player interest before the game is released. So, from these points, it's difficult to conclude whether Fighting Frankie will be successful as Poppy Playtime or not, but at the moment, the game is doing quite well in building its reputation before the official release. Just within about 15 days of announcing the new trailer, the video has garnered over 500,000 views on YouTube platform, while the channel has only 13,000 subscribers. The search volume as well as the number of discussion videos about the game posted by other YouTubers are also quite high. So, in terms of marketing, Frankie has done a really good job in attracting a certain number of gamers. As for specific success in terms of gameplay or storyline, well, maybe we'll have to wait until the game is officially released to make an accurate conclusion. How do you feel about this game? Do you think it's worth looking forward to this year? Leave your comments below to let me know. If you want me to cover any other topics, don't forget to leave a comment below as I read all your heartfelt words. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell on the channel so you won't miss out on future videos airing every week.